Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my channel. In case you're new, my name is Matthew Vandeputte. I am a Belgian living in Sydney, Australia, and I am a full-time time-lapse photographer. This channel is all about time-lapse travel and teaching. And in today's video, as you would have seen by the thumbnail or the title, we are talking about the, boom, Canon 6D Mark II. And yes, I've got two. Why do I have these cameras and why am I shooting these weeks before the camera actually even launches? Just as a little side note, I've been fortunate enough to be asked by Canon Australia to produce a time-lapse launch video, which is exactly what I did. So I took these two cameras, which are prototypes or pre-release models, I guess. I took them out into nature, I shot some city stuff, and then we escaped the city and showed the beauty of the landscapes or the galaxy, the universe that we live in pretty much. And because I have these cameras here and because I've got a little bit of time left and because they're taking these guys away from me tonight, I wanted to maximize that opportunity and create a little hands-on first impression review video, because they tend to do really well on YouTube, and that's pretty much the reasoning behind it. So without further ado, let's get into the positives of the 6D Mark II. I should start off this little review by saying that I've only shot a decent amount of RAWs and JPEGs with this camera. I haven't been able to process or treat the RAW files properly because the plugin doesn't exist yet for Lightroom and Photoshop. I only have DPP4, which is a pre-release plugin that has the code for the RAW files, but it's just so incredibly slow to edit them, so I've only been editing the JPEG. So the whole launch video is actually shot with or created out of the JPEG files. I haven't shot as much video on it as I wanted to. We'll go over that later, but if you want like an in-depth review, as I mentioned before, you're probably better off checking someone else's channel. But I want to make this video short because that's the video I like to watch as well. I don't like watching 20-minute videos. What am I doing? All right, first up on the list, obviously, it is this thing. So this is a Canon full-frame camera with a flip screen. I've got a 1DX2, which is what I'm shooting on now, and I can't tell you how much I wish it had a flip screen. And not only is it a flip screen, it is fully touch as well. So I can show you, oh, there's a setup. So menu, and you just, you know, I don't know what I'm doing because it's very hard to see, but I should probably put a lens on here. Hold on, be right back. Boom, here we have it, the 11-24. That's the most impressive lens I could put on there for this video. So I wanted to show you the touchscreen, obviously, which works very responsive, is very responsive. And just works very well. You can do all your settings and stuff and use that for focusing. It's such a pleasure working with a decent touchscreen. It speeds things up, and only if you've been working with it for a few minutes. Go back to a camera that doesn't have a touchscreen, and boy, you will miss it. So yeah, flip and touchscreen. Up next, low light. Yes, the low light is absolutely incredible. I was blown away by how well this performed. As I mentioned before, I've got the 1DX2. Now this thing comes so close. Maybe it's even better. That would be quite frustrating considering the price point, which is another positive, the price point for this one. I won't actually put a price number here, but I know it's going to be pretty accessible because it is their entry-level full-frame camera. Being a time-lapse photographer, you can be assured that I'm pretty excited about the 4K time-lapse movie mode, or the time-lapse movie function. So instead of recording an HD file, you can actually shoot 4K time-lapses straight out of camera. Not only with static exposures, they've added something in the firmware where it measures the exposure before every photo. I haven't been able to test that out yet, but it's a really good sign that Canon's working on implementing something to cover day to night and night to day, or holy grail time-lapse sequences. There's a couple things in the firmware that I'm pretty excited about, such as the bulk timer, which means you can shoot photos with exposures longer than 30 seconds without having to carry an intervalometer or an external remote around. On the subject of intervalometers, that's also built in, so you don't need that remote if you want to shoot time lapses. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get a couple of these just because it fits so many things for my time-lapse work. On the video side of things, it shoots HDR video, also known as high dynamic range video. Now again, I haven't been able to shoot that much with it, especially not video stuff, but pretty much that exposes for both the highlights and the shadows in pretty contrasty scenes. And that is where I lost all my footage from that recording. I don't know how it happened. I think some sort of data mismanagement in Final Cut Pro X, but we're here now 2 weeks later. I don't have the cameras anymore, but I still want to finish this video. My first impressions of the 6D Mark II, obviously. So that was the HDR video. Again, didn't try it really, but another positive that I really enjoyed with the camera is the connectivity. So it's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, all that stuff, and also GPS built in, which again are some really nice features to have in a entry-level camera. Another really big positive is the battery life. So not only does it use the same batteries as any other 5D or 6D line, the battery life, the way it consumes the juice in the battery, was very impressive. I shot I don't know how many sequences at night, but the lowest temperature that we had was about 3 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. But yeah, after hours and hours of shooting, I still had like 40% battery left, and that was almost freezing conditions and like humidity and cold and just like terrible stuff. And usually that's what eats up energy in batteries, but this kept going, so that's pretty good. It's not fully weather sealed like a 5D or a 1D, but it does have some sort of weatherproofing in it. I've seen some of the, you know, the rubber connections and behind the buttons and stuff. So there is some stuff going on there to make sure that when you're out in the rain that you're not going to go regret going out in the rain pretty much. Once again, Canon's blowing me away with their autofocus performance, especially on this sensor. It's a CMOS dual pixel AF sensor. It's the same type of technology that's in the 1DX or the 5D Mark IV. And the way it recognizes faces or people and the way it tracks focus is really impressive, and it makes video shooting so much easier. Now that's it for the positives. I have to talk about the negatives. I know there's no 4K video. I really want that in there. I miss that a lot. I get how, you know, for an entry-level camera with the type of components you need or you want to use in there, to not make it too expensive, you can't go down that path. But still, I feel like you get this glimpse with the 4K movie mode. I really wish it had 4K video. That's, for me, the biggest downside of this camera. A little thing in the side of the camera, there's one single SD slot. I wish that was 2 or something else, I don't know, but I feel a bit limited having only the one SD card slot in this camera. The last little negative tidbit about this camera is the fact that it's got a USB 2 on the side instead of a USB 3 or a USB-C. I wonder if we'll see that day when Canon uses USB-C on the sides of their cameras. It's not really super relevant to me personally, because the way I connect my cameras to my computer is I take the memory card out and then put them in a memory card reader, and that's how I transfer data to my hard drives pretty much. And just like that, we are coming almost to the end of this video. Again, this wasn't a huge in-depth camera review. It was more a glimpse of the features that I liked and disliked when using this camera. Again, it's a pre-release model, so it might not be final, but I think I had a couple valuable insights for this one. I feel extremely blessed and privileged to have been able to work with this thing before it launched. That's always really fun. Big thanks to Canon Australia, obviously. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please drop them in the comments down below. Are you getting this camera? Have you been holding out? Do you have the 6D Mark I? What do you want to see different? All that stuff. Put it in the comments below and we can chat. I'm always around checking in on the comments. Also, if you want to get in touch on Twitter or Instagram, my username on there is matjoez. And yeah, that'll be it for the video. I'm pretty much ranting as always, but I would like to thank you so much for watching. And hold on, how did I finish the other video? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Man, that was dumb. Shouldn't have done that. Anyways, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one. Obviously, it's Canon's introduction, or what do you call it? First level, full frame. Wow, this is going terrible. What do I even say?